Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars saga. And I am very excited, as you can see, because I can finally get to talk about the movie that started all when it came to Star Wars, and a movie that I remember watching very, very fondly as a kid, and that I still watch now as an adult, and still has the same effect on me that it had back then. Because this is how much I love this movie, ladies and gentlemen. We finally get to episode 4, A New Hope. Oh my god. What can I say about this movie that has not been said before? It's a classic. It's amazing. Its usage of practical effects by 1977 standards is outstanding. George Lucas's directing is on point. It's very solid. His writing, is here and there, but otherwise effective. Of course, the movie, takes inspiration from a multitude of different things and kind of molds it and shapes it into its own thing. And pretty much gives it a timeless feel. And, the original Star Wars does not look dated. It feels timeless. Like it could happen in almost any, like this movie could be made in almost any year because it's so simple, it's so effective, and its story it's just so well done. Well, now in chronological order, picking off exactly with where Rogue One left off, Darth Vader invades that rebel ship that has the plans, and of course he sees Leia, who was given the plans, and she hides the droid. She hides the plans in R2-D2, and of course, this is the movie that gave us C-3PO and R2-D2. My opinion, have like a Albert and Costello vibe going on to them because they have very good comedic chemistry with one another. C-3PO can be annoying at times, but in other times he can be funny. Like he's a mixed bag. Like he's not horrible, but he's not like overly like ridiculous in terms of his comedy. Because he has some quips that are pretty funny, and when he's always egging on R2, that's also pretty funny too. So like the chemistry between the R2 and C-3PO is very genuine and very cool. But like I said, yeah. So Leia hides the planes in R2-D2, and pretty much R2-D2's job is to find Obi-Wan Kenobi and give him the plans to the Death Star so that he can give it to the Rebel base on Yavin, on the planet of Yavin, which is where the Rebel stronghold is. So they get banished to Tatooine, in which we are introduced to Luke motherfucking Skywalker, the son of Anakin Skywalker, the son of Darth Vader. But we're not up to that. The son of Darth Vader, the savior of the galaxy. And when we see Luke, he's just this whiny teenage little bitch who doesn't want to be a farmer, wants to have his own life, wants to do his own thing. And, he's a flawed hero. Luke is not the badass that he is right away, which is good, because you don't want to do that right away. Like, you want Luke to be, inexperienced, in and over his head, optimistic, but at the same time, you don't want to overpower him, because then it defeats the purpose of him becoming the true hero. Which is why I love the fact that when we see Luke, he's just like this kid who's just in need of adventure or something like that. And Mark Hamill's performance as Luke Skywalker is genuine, and you feel that excitement within him. And Mark Hamill is just a very charismatic actor in general. His glow just shines through the screen, and he gives Luke his personality and pretty much brings him to life. And over the course of Luke's development from this film to Empire and Jedi, we see Hamill actually mature also as an actor, which is also pretty cool in its own right. And so it's like at the same time, Hamill and Luke are both maturing at the same time, which is a pretty cool thing to see. But in this movie, Luke is just like that whiny teenage brat who just wants a sense of adventure. He ain't the hero yet. But we're also introduced I'm so sorry. We're also reintroduced, if you watch this in chronological order, we are reintroduced to Obi-Wan Kenobi, played for the first time by Sir Alec Guinness. And Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan Kenobi is awesome. He brings that old mentor presence to him. You know, he has a refined way of talking. And like whenever you in the chemistry and banter between Obi-Wan and Luke is also really, really good. You know, they have like an unbridled chemistry with one another. And throughout the course of this movie and the next two movies, you see that, you know, relationship mature and develop even more, which is also great. But in the confines of New Hope, their relationship is very much, you know, mentor student. And of course, you know, Obi tells Luke a story about how he knew his father and how his father was a great pilot and how he trained him and how his father was killed by Vader. And of course, if you saw the prequels, you know, it's kind of like a half lie and a half truth sort of thing. But we'll elaborate. It's kind of like a half truth, half lie sort of thing. But we're not up to that big revelation yet. I was jumping ahead, which is blah. Sorry about that. Anyway, erase all that from your mind. Then, of course, you know, we are introduced to Harrison Ford as Han Solo, the badass smuggler of the galaxy, who is pretty much the James Dean of the galaxy. And right off the bat, once Han Solo comes into this movie, it immediately goes into a high gear because Han Solo just, you know, Harrison Ford just gives Han Solo that badass Lone Ranger swagger to him, where it's like, you know, Han Solo's like the coolest guy in the room, and you just want to like hang out with this guy because he's so badass and he's so cool. And then you got Chewbacca, you know, his faithful sidekick, and you know the lovable Wookiee who can also kick your ass. And their friendship is also very cool too as the movie develops. And of course, you know, we have the other important piece of the puzzle, Princess Leia, played by Carrie Fisher. You know, and she ain't your typical damsel in distress because when Leia needs to, she can grab a fucking blaster and shoot you to Kingdom Come, and she won't think twice about it. And she's also not afraid to like speak her mind. There's a pretty funny scene where Luke, Han, Chewbacca, and Leia are walking, and Leia's just like, "Can someone get this walking carpet out of my way?" And she's also not afraid to call Han on his bullshit too, which is also pretty cool. And you also see the seeds be planted for the future romance between the two characters. And in my view, where the romance with Anakin and Padme did not work, in my view, the romance between Han and Leia does work. Especially in the first movie, where you equate it to as like, you're not sure if they have feelings for one another, but you know there's like a little tension going on there. Like maybe Leia has a little crush on Han, and vice versa. You know, you can equate it to like the popular girl in high school. You know, kind of having like a little thing for this loner rebel guy who is not part of any crowd. He just sees it, but he's his own man. You can equate it to that you can equate the origins of the relationship to something like that, which is, you know, good in its own right. And of course, the action set pieces in this movie are iconic. There's the whole scene inside the Death Star where Han and the gang, you know, infiltrate the Death Star to rescue Princess Leia, and you see them, you know, blasting through stormtroopers. There's the garbage chute scene where they try to like do whatever they can to stop the walls from closing in on them. There's the essentially the rematch between Vader and Obi-Wan near the end of the Death Star sequence, and they have like a little jousting match going on, and Vader kills Obi-Wan. And of course, you know, Obi-Wan having that you know, and of course that scene between Obi and Vader pretty much the best lines in the movie, where Vader's like, "When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master." And Obi's like, "Only a master in evil, death." And then Obi's like, "If you strike me down, I'll become the most powerful force in the galaxy," or something like that. And which Obi-Wan does, because once Vader strikes him down, Obi-Wan Obi-Wan, you know, starts that, ends up becoming a Force ghost, and where he's able to communicate from the dead. And for like the latter part of the movie, you pretty much, it's pretty much Obi, helping Luke as they have that epic, space battle with the TIE fighters while they're, in the Death Star trying to trying to go to that, to the weak point and blast it in the Kingdom Come, which which was established in Rogue One, but that weak spot. And Episode 4, we see it all comes full circle, and of course, Luke gets the kill shot, Death Star explodes, the Rebels win this round, and we go back to the planet Yavin, and we have the ceremony where Luke and Han get their gold medals, and all is right with the world for now. And I say for now because at the end of this movie, Darth Vader doesn't die. He just gets, blown. His ship starts to spin out of control, but he does not die. He probably goes to like a nearby Imperial starship or whatever. But yeah. So that's so. Like I said, this is such an awesome movie. It's just so hard to not get giddy when I talk about this movie because I love it so much. And I love the practical effects. The practical effects in this movie is amazing. The miniatures are amazing. The map paintings are amazing. The cantina scene in Mos Eisley is awesome. Some of the best alien makeups you'll ever see. And before I forget, and I should have mentioned this earlier, but like I said, once I start talking about Star Wars, I want to talk about this and I want to talk about that, and I leave a lot of things out. One of the things I do want to mention is that Peter Cushing, the original Grand Moff Tarkin, is in this movie, and he's pretty much like the guy who's in charge of the Death Star, as was established in Rogue One, and in Rogue, and in New Hope, we pretty much see him pretty much calling the shots on the Death Star. You can almost say he's like one of the Emperor's right-hand men. And he pretty much, I guess you could say, and he and Vader kind of have like that neutral respect for one another. But also at the same time, I think Vader also takes orders from him. So he pretty much has Vader, I guess you could say, on a leash. Because there are certain scenes where, like, he tells Vader to do something and Vader will do it. So it's like, you got that going on there too. And yes, this is the real, and thank God this movie was not made with CGI, because I don't think I could take the horrificness of Rogue One on a Peter Cushing. So thank God this was the original movie where Peter Cushing, who was alive and well at this time, was himself, and that CGI nonsense from Rogue One. Yeah, you can't beat the original. And I don't even know why I just mentioned it, but whatever. So, with all that said and done, and Star Wars New Hope is a 9 out of 10 for me. It's amazing. I love it. I watch it almost on a regular. I watch it, fairly on a regular rotation. I never get tired of it. I always get giddy when I watch it. And I discover new things when I watch it too, like maybe these little nuances, And the one, and of course, the version that I have is the remastered version, which has the deleted scene with Jabba the Hutt, in which Han and Jabba have the little, and you can almost say that New Hope is like the unofficial debut of Jabba the Hutt and Boba Fett, because in that same scene, Boba Fett is right behind Jabba the Hutt, which is for all the Boba Fett fans, pretty cool seeing Boba Fett and Jabba in this movie. And I think of like the add-ons, that's probably the best one, is Jabba and Boba Fett, and the rest of it is just like meh. The rest of it is just meh. But does not take away from the movie. Minor nitpicks I have, but whatever. It does not take away from the movie at all, because this movie is a solid 9 to 10. I love it. Any fan of sci-fi or has to appreciate the Star Wars movies, and especially A New Hope, which what you could say was the start of the modern day sci-fi action adventure movie. Well, that's all I got to say about A New Hope. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you again next time.